So thank you for joining Nick Ehret, and I'm Patrick Donohue for a couple minutes. We just wanted to share some insights. We have been very startled, I think, with everybody on the recent events, the social unrest over the last couple of weeks, and it's hitting our hometown of the Twin Cities, especially hard, obviously, with the unjust acts that have occurred with George Floyd. And we put a post out recently out on LinkedIn, and we're doing some things to follow up on that. And we just wanted to share some thoughts. This has just been startling for us, eye-opening. And of course, now the whole nation and the world is really seeing what's happening in the Minneapolis and the Twin Cities, and it's bringing to light a lot of social unrest throughout the nation and now even the world. And so with that, Nick, you were on the front end of doing a wonderful job drafting the post that we ultimately put out, talking about how we're making some donations and so forth. But your thoughts that you'd like to share?
I think it was obviously the last couple of weeks have been shocking, to see kind of what happened to George Floyd and how unjust and the impact of that, and the protesters and everything that's happened. And what we've tried to think about is what can we do to help promote positive change. In the post, we talked about being able to amplify the voices of those communities within our Empire Builders community. We donated to the Lake Street Council to help rebuild Lake Street and a lot of the buildings that were destroyed as part of the rioting. And also just trying to be as inclusive as we can within our Empire Builders community, bringing more people from these communities that are underrepresented. And it really just ties back to everything that we want to do at Hill Capital as far as providing capital and community, to businesses, and part of our core values are transparency and responsibility to everyone within the community. And we just are continuing to try to figure out ways and determine ways that we can help support these communities that have been targeted over multi-generations and are trying to enact change. And I think we acknowledge that this isn't enough. We don't know everything. We're just trying to do the best we can to really help with these positive changes. And I think there'll be more and more to come from us on this, but we just felt like it was necessary to put out a post and, know that we stand behind, what the protesters are asking for change. Their change clearly needs to happen, and we want to be part of that positive change.
Yeah, I spent many sleepless nights up late watching, some of my favorite areas being torn apart. It was just unbelievable to have human beings not treating other human beings in this day and era without dignity and respect is just, frankly, just mind-numbing. And then to just see the double, triple blow with the devastation to especially the small business community. And in many of these areas, it's immigrant populations. I mean, people really just, getting their start and the go. I mean, I come from immigrants. I think really the vast majority of us in the United States all do. And, and to see, and I come from an entrepreneurial family, and, to see that, their blood, sweat, and tears are in those businesses, and they're literally, in flames overnight. And so just our heart breaks in so many different ways. And so we want to do our part to help and, raise awareness of the issues at hand, be part of the solution, and also help those entrepreneurs and small business owners and those, those that are affected. I think the statistic is now 500 businesses were affected by the riots, and it's something like it's now in the 9 figures of damage is the estimates. It's just unbelievable. So we're going to do our part, and the best way we can do that is just acknowledging the situation and saying and speaking to our core values, especially around responsibility and transparency. I mean, we've always, from day one, been responsible to all stakeholders, and all, capital ALL. That's everybody in the communities that we serve. And so, that's where we're looking to do. And then also, one thing that's always been troubling for me, being in the world of finance and tying this to kind of like our work, but finance has always been it's an insider's club, and that's one thing that's always really bugged me, and I've seen that firsthand. And that's why transparency is one of our core values, is we want to kind of end that era of it being an insider's game. and really level the playing field and really help everyone understand the world of finance and how to get access to capital as we continue our journey to really help reduce, if not someday, probably will never get there, but eliminate that capital gap that exists in so many different ways to so many different constituents. But we're going to do our part to help with that.
Yep. And it led into, we've been doing our expert hours for the Empire Builders community every 2 weeks. And our, most recent one was last week with Gwen Gierke, and the title of hers was, managing transitions and leading through changes, which was a very timely topic in the current environment. And, the big takeaway I had from hers was, the idea that there's an end to the way that things are, the way that things happen within organizations and clearly within communities. And it feels like we've come to a point, hopefully, where that end is recognized. And then it's a matter of planning for that change and then getting to the new beginning. And I think planning through the changes, meaning, the big takeaway part of that planning is needing to communicate with all of the stakeholders. And I think that's something that everybody, whether it's Black Lives Matter or other, communities, everybody needs to communicate what the path forward is and try to determine what the best way for that new beginning is. And we want to be part of those conversations and figure out how we can help. And, I think Gwen's talk was really helpful in the context of what's happening today, but then also how do you change within small or large organizations as you have to make, big changes to your company.
Yeah, it was a wonderful conversation, and we got terrific feedback on it. Really beginning with that end in mind, what does that look like? And then she outlined a 10-step plan for that transition. If anybody wants insights, let us know, and we'll help connect you there. But it was just really helpful to take that time. And when we originally set this up, it was a long time ago. We set this up, and it was more about managing transitions through leadership within a business, but it's very applicable to all transitions and changes that are needed. And so it was a powerful timing, especially in our hometown, to have that conversation. The other takeaway I got from it too was I loved her simple point, and there was a lot of nuance to it, but she had talked about how you should always be recruiting. And I know, Nick, you and I have talked a lot about that as well, but the idea of always like building that network and thinking about what does that team look like is a really helpful way to get there as you build your team. And we've been thinking about a lot about that, and when it comes to like inclusivity and the things that we can do to make sure that we continue to live up to our core values. So
yeah, with that, I think, if you're interested in joining us for those expert hours, we'll do them every 2 weeks. So just reach out. You can reach out directly on LinkedIn or email us. Our email address is on our website. And, we definitely encourage you to read, the expert hours have been well received, and we'll continue to do those and support communities and think about ways that we can enact positive change.
Yep. And, like we've always said to all of our constituents, our ears are open. So if anybody has any feedback for us or points of connection or anything that we can do to continue to be more collaborative and inclusive, please let us know, because it does take a tribe and it takes community to help make it all better. So we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.